the only news that matters really for West Ham today is that West Ham have drawn Sevilla in the Europa League round of the last 16. Now, you sort of think it's written in the stars for Sevilla on this one, because the final is scheduled to be played at their home stadium. Believe it or not, it's going to be quite hard to put a spanner in the works of this one. Not just because the final has some superstition that the finals at their stadium. They're a brilliant team. They've won it 6 times. When I was watching the draw, I thought, I fancied Rangers, as you may well have known. I thought it might have been a good not the glamour tie. The glamour tie was Barcelona, wasn't it? Let's be perfectly honest with you. If you're going to get a big team and get a hard team, might as well get Barcelona. You get to go to the new camp and, Barcelona at the London Stadium. That would have been the glamorous one. Rangers, I just wanted it. I wanted it. I thought the British tie would be good for domestic football, certainly. I'll be honest, I would have fancied our chances of getting through against Rangers. I'd be lying if I'd said that didn't play some part in my thinking. But there was one team I didn't want, and it's sod's law. It's the team we've got. It's Sevilla. I'm not a great watcher of European football, it has to be said, but even someone like me knows that Sevilla have been really prolific in this tournament. 6 times they've won it. And, this is a club in which so many players and so many managers have forged their European reputations. This is going to be a really interesting one for David Moyes, because he's not going to get away with, I was going to say, playing a weakened team. He hasn't really in Europe, apart from when we qualified. But he will not even get away with mixing this up, not even slightly. And when I say mixing it up, the team by chucking a couple of players that are not featuring in the first team and mixing it up with some first team players, having a blend. You're not going to get anywhere by playing Yarmolenko in this particular game. Put it that way. They're riding really high. You'll know this. You probably watch more Spanish football and European football than I do. But they're riding high in the league. They're second in the league. Just went and had a look, and they're having an absolutely tremendous season, aren't they? And the real funny thing about this particular tie, I think, as well, is some of the players involved. And because, as we know, David Moyes has been chasing Youssef En-Nesyri, who's not been playing much recently for Sevilla. I went and had a little look. But he's been chasing En-Nesyri for the best part of 2 years. Since we signed Haller, I think David Moyes pretty much decided, Haller's going, this is the guy I want. He's only one of 2 players I can think that he's come out and spoken of publicly. That'll tell you something about how much he certainly wants him. So I guess he'll get quite a close look at him if he features, if he starts. He's generally been coming on as a substitute, as I say. But there's a lot of players, and there's some players who will be, very, very familiar to a lot of us. The first one is Anthony Martial, who of course they signed from Manchester United. I think he's definitely already scored. He's scored relatively recently. They've also got a Rakitic, really good player as well. Munir, is that his name? He's really good. Oliver Torres, good player. They've got some really good players. There's no point me listing off any more of the players. Clearly they've got good players because they keep winning European competitions. And it's not like some history of winning European competitions that goes back years and years. It's recent. They have recently acquired this trophy numerous times. And the very fact that they are up contesting La Liga says an awful lot about the team. And I think there's a lot to be respectful of, and probably there's a lot to be fearful of. That being said, this is what we wanted. This is what we asked for, not this particular tie. It's quite a funny one, actually. I'm quite happy to avoid these teams until you get to the final, and then hopefully they've been knocked out by the time you get to the final. I just want a trophy. That's all I want at West Ham. I just want to win a trophy. But, realistically, in terms of us being fans, we wanted European competition. We wanted to be in the knockout round of European competition. All right, it's not Barcelona, but it's a big team. I don't know if that's the record, by the way, for winning the Europa League, or what used to be called the UEFA Cup, whatever you call it. But it'd be up there, wouldn't it? They've probably won it as many times, if not more, than anybody else. So in terms of us wanting a big team, well, we got one. We got one. We get to test ourselves against the cream of Europe. And they are constant, they are perennial winners of European trophies. You don't really get a much sterner test than this, apart from maybe those super clubs like a Manchester City or a club like Paris Saint-Germain, or, you know, those teams that have mega stars, well, you're not going to play them because they're always going to qualify out their group for the Champions League. Well, this say, well, it looks like Sevilla will be in the Champions League next season anyway. But you know, will they drop out again? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Next season's next season. Let's deal with this one. But this is a top team. This is it. I think it's fair to say Sevilla are one of the top 10 teams in world football. I think it's probably fair to say that, and that's what we've got. I'd like to say we're about to find out how good we are. We're not about to find out how good we are. We could have an off day. They could have an off day. It makes it a little bit more difficult when you've got 2 legs. You've got to have 2 off days, and that's going to be that's not going to be quite so simple. That being said, they had an off day yesterday. But before I go any further, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. You can download the OneFootball app to your phone. It's already on my phone. I use it every match day. In fact, I use it every day. Why do I use it? Because it puts all the West Ham news together into one place for you. When you sign up, use that QR code if you want. You say, I support West Ham. It takes all the articles from all the different websites, all the different newspapers, puts them into one place for you, and gives you all the West Ham news in a one-stop shop. Best of all, it's free. Please use the link below. They'll know you've come from Hammer's Chat. But yes, I said about yesterday, let me put the old glasses on, because they they got through. That's really the main thing. That's all Sevilla will be bothered about. However, they got a red card yesterday. They lost. They lost 1-0 to Dynamo Zagreb, but on aggregate they went down at 3-2. Let's be fair, they had the Lions share a play. But it does show maybe they can be beaten. I'm probably clutching at straws here. But we have to go in with that mindset. David Moyes is going to have to come up with something. I know we might not have the most glamorous manager in the world, but he is going to have some sort of knowledge of European football, and certainly Spanish football, because he managed out there. I know it was only a short period of time, but he managed out there. Our new director of recruitment is apparently an expert in Spanish football. Rob Newman, that's what he does. He was a scout. He wasn't ever director of football or anything. He didn't have such a lofty job for Man City as he has for us. But he was based in Spain and in Portugal. He was Manchester City's eyes and ears in Spain and Portugal. That was his job. That's got to have some benefit. Because we've got to look for some angle. We've got to look for something where we can get something out of this. It's the return leg, so the leg at the London Stadium, I believe, is on the 17th of March. I don't want to give you the wrong information here. Okay, first leg's played on the 10th of March. Second leg is on the 17th of March. So, look, it's going to be a great occasion. Get your tickets in. Get down to the London Stadium. You know, these things don't come along very often in our lives, do they? That we would get to play such a good team in a knockout round of European competition. I think I'm certainly going to be going there to enjoy the event. I guess the one real benefit of this now is that the second leg, as I think, unless they change it, I don't know. I think the second leg is going to be at the London Stadium. At least we'll know by then what we'll have to do when we'll get to the end of that. If we're still in the game, if we start that match still in the game, so I'm getting excited now. If we start that match still in the game, and still in the tie, so to speak, we can do it. We really, really can. But we've got to get back to the swashbuckling West Ham. We've got to get back to West Ham at the start of the season, where the players were passing and moving, where we were counter-attacking quickly. Not this sort of lethargic, bereft of ideas, stale sort of West Ham, where we're at now. We may well find, I think, a lot of what's been said recently is that clubs have found us out. I hear that a lot. The clubs in the Premier League have sussed out David Moyes' tactics. I don't know. I don't know. I've got other ideas myself. There might be a bit of that. I think we do struggle to break teams down, certainly. But I think there's probably a little bit more to it, for reasons that I've discussed on numerous occasions on this channel. That being said, if that is the case and that is true, then maybe Sevilla haven't sussed us out. Maybe you look at the amount of possession they have, you look at how they play football, maybe, and I'm clear. Look, Sevilla are favourites for this game. If we've got a chance, it probably is on the counter-attack. What we've got to do is make sure we get some spark and some energy back into our team. I'm excited about it. I watched the draw. I watched half the draw, which is fortunately, I watched the half of the draw that counted. I sort of forgot it was on, really. But I'm really excited about it now. Make no mistake about this, though. Our players won't have forgotten that draw was on. They would have watched that today, and they'll be excited. You know, this is what players like Declan Rice wanted. This is what he wants. And we've got some experienced players in European football in the team. But my word, we really need Souček to step up now, because he's one of those experienced European players. We need this guy to step up. We're going to need Zuma, massively need Zuma. You know, he's got to put all the stuff behind him that's happened. We're going to need an experienced European player there. There's no doubt about it. And what they're going to do is we're going to need the English lads who don't have any experience in European football. You know, like Dawson and Antonio. I know Antonio's represented Jamaica, but he's English. He's English, you know what I'm saying? You need the English lads that haven't got that experience of European football, and Cresswell as well, to actually to perform above their experience. If we do that, you never know. You never know. I'm not writing this off. I'm not predicting we'll get through. But I think I think I've worked myself up a little bit. I think I started this video a little bit down in the dumps about it. I don't know what I'm pointing. I'm pointing at something. I don't know what's going on there. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it now. And what we need to do, I guess, starting with Wolves, is get a little bit of form back. So as when we get to the match days that we've got, I think us as fans feel that we can do something. We certainly don't want to go into these games with a lethargy and feeling a little bit glum like we are at the moment. Anyway, there you go. It's Sevilla, West Ham, last 16 of the Europa League, or as I like to call it, the Europos Cupos. You call it what you want. They'll probably change the name again within another season.